We want to save this last section. One of the things that Tony and I get to do on a regular basis multiple times a week is train. So what I want to reserve this last segment for on every single podcast is to train on a topic that you and I are feeling passionate about. Today, the topic that I think would be very fun for you to lead us off in the training is, do you bring a CMA to a listing appointment?
So I was always trained. The answer is yes. I was trained that if you have a listing presentation, the win is to gauge if I was successful. I would do the CMA up front before I even saw the house. I would get the address, run my CMA through the MLS the way I was trained to do, print my sheets, have it all nice and ready, show up to the seller's house, go over the CMA, show them the comps, go over everything, bring the listing agreement with me, get them to sign it, and leave with a signed contract. That's the way I was trained. And that's the way that I did it forever.
And what percentage of real estate agents would you say are being trained on that today?
All of them.
Every one of them.
Every one of them. That's the way that it goes. Now, this idea of not doing a CMA until later, that's you. When you said that, I said that's insane.
You thought that was the dumbest thing that I have said.
I think I need to rethink my decision to join this. Like, I thought you were off your rocker. And you're going to explain the logic behind that. But I have found, and the thing that I have always done, because even though I was trained to do it that way, the part that didn't make sense is, okay, how am I going to do a CMA if I haven't seen the house? So that I figured out back in 2017. I started to kind of break that mold, and even my broker at the time said, well, it's kind of an inconvenience to the seller because now you're going twice instead of once, so just try to do a really good CMA. I didn't listen to that. It never made sense to run a CMA before I saw the house. But I didn't take it as far as not doing a CMA at all until after the listing agreement was signed, which you're going to talk about in a second. My thought was walk through CMA, listing presentation with CMA to get the listing agreement signed. You do it in a different fashion. How and why?
Yeah, so there's been two different ideas, I would say, that kind of kick this off for me. Number one, you said it earlier. How are you to price a home before ever walking through it? I learned this, I think, from my new construction days. Even though it's the same community, it's the same floor plan, it's the same upgrades, it's the same everything. Not every home is created equally. Some lots are going to sit better. They're going to sit between homes, and you're going to have views of mountains. You're going to have lake views. You're going to be further off the street. You're going to be in a cul-de-sac. There are certain unquantifiable things that the data will never give you that you are never going to be able to get. What percentage, I'm curious, you've probably averaged 20 listings a year, 10 listings a year for the last almost 10 years. Mm-hmm. You've probably done 40, 50, 60 listings. How many of them would you say your CMA was actually accurate on?
That's a great question. I like to pride myself on my CMAs, but I actually learned from you all of those intangibles.
Nuances.
I never knew, what is it worth to have a north-facing versus a south-facing? What is it worth to be in a cul-de-sac versus something else? I'd never seen it like that. For me, it was just the comps. What I learned from you is understanding what number you can attach to north-facing versus south-facing. What you can attach to, there is nobody behind you. You're going to have unobstructed views. I never knew how to quantify that, and I think that's one of your superpowers.
Well, and then not only that, but the other thing that you have to consider, and this is once again going back to the builder world that I lived in, the price of the home also will dictate another number that most agents aren't paying attention to when they're presenting a CMA, and that's days on market. Are we good? Okay. Oh no, you're good. There's a number that is attached, which is days on market, that most agents are not factoring into their CMA. So they're saying this is the price, and that's not saying this is going to sell in 30 days or this is going to sell in 180 days. Our average days on market in Utah currently is somewhere between 60 and 70 days on market. I think it's going up. We'll save that for another time. But our average days on market right now is 65. So is that what you're pricing to? Are you pricing to sell this in 120 days, or are you pricing to sell this in 2 weeks? There is a massive difference, and the pricing needs to reflect that. For instance, you have things like a third car garage in a city like Vineyard that you live in. A third car garage is going to impact your home in Vineyard $40,000 to $50,000, but it's also going to drop your average days on market from 55 days on market to 12 to 15 days on market. Both of those things have to be considered. So for me, especially as we look around, I'm like, I have a lot of new agents in the room that are going on some of their very very first listing presentations. How are these guys going to pull a comp? Because the comp that they have in a cul-de-sac with views is not going to register the same as their comp that lives on a corner street that's a busy road. And so that is not going to be quantifiable, because the way that you're doing your CMA right now is you're going and doing a radius, 0.25 miles, 0.5 miles, and that's where you're pulling your comps from. And even if it's $5,000 to $10,000, changing your price by that much will make a difference. Number one, on the net to the seller, but then number two, on your days on market. So that was the first point. And then number two, I looked at this and I'm like, okay, when you go in and you bring a CMA to the listing appointment, like every other agent before and after you that they are interviewing is going to do, you are now no longer competing on your ability to position the home in the marketplace. You are competing on what your CMA says versus what the other agent's CMA says. So I looked at this and I'm like, okay, we have somebody like Tony Acosta who is on paper going to put together a better CMA than 99% of real estate agents out there. And Tony is going to lose to agents because Tony presented a realistic CMA, and this other agent that doesn't know their head from their ass is going to come and put $10,000, $20,000 higher. And that seller is going to go with Tony because their CMA is higher, not because of Tony's ability to position the home in the marketplace. So we have had a ton of luck. I would love for you to kind of run through what you've seen from different agents in the room as we've adopted this strategy over the last 90 days, because I have seen conversion rates go up. I have seen agents getting listing agreements signed within 20 minutes. They're not having to spend, I think that's the other big thing. A legit CMA is going to take you multiple hours to put together on a deal that you may or may not ever get. So you are going to spend a ton of time on a deal that you might not ever get, and you're going to lose because some jackass is coming in and telling you $50,000 more than what I told you.
For sure. So a couple things. I think the first thing is it's a very good opportunity to establish contrast with the norm. So when you tell a seller, hey, most agents are going to do this. Most agents, they're going to ask for your address. They're going to run that address through some AI, whether it's their MLS or it's ChatGPT or it's Perplexity or whatever. And the software is going to spit out a number. They're going to take that number and they're going to tell you, how do you feel about this number? If you don't like the number, they're going to ask you, what number do you like? You're going to give them a number that is higher than what is on their piece of paper. And when you give them that number, they'll say, let's do it for sure. I can sell the house at that price. When you tell a seller that, when they're interviewing multiple agents, and if there are agents that either came after you or before you, all of a sudden you automatically stand out.
So when you say it is impossible for me to do a CMA on your home prior to walking it, you make everybody else that came before you and after you look like they don't know what they're doing.
And it's completely true when I tell a seller, hey, if I were to bring a CMA right now, it would be complete BS. There is no way that I can do that. So I am very upfront with sellers in that regard of, I don't know your motivation. I don't know your timing. I don't know what upgrades you've done to the house. I don't know what maintenance is still needed. I don't know any
I don't know what
stuff.
Direction your home faces. I don't know what the views look like. I don't, those adjustments that agents don't know how to make if you're just doing it on the MLS.
I have no clue. So I'm very upfront in telling the seller, my process is a little bit different. Here's why, and here's why I think that it's better. That's point number one. Point number two. If you do it the traditional way, as you mentioned, you're not really competing as an agent. It's who has the best packet. And the focus is the packet. The focus is the CMA that I have to review. So here are all my pieces of paper, and or the listing agreement. So it's not a conversation. It's a lecture on these pieces of paper. Agents use that as an anchor to have their meetings. If I take those tools away, there's nothing left. There's nothing left. If the agent isn't trained on how to ask proper questions, on demonstrating that they have a process, you take away their primary tools, there's nothing left. So once you're sitting there naked with no paper, now you have to actually talk to people. Now you actually have to engage in a conversation effectively, and far too many agents cannot do that. All they can do is read what is on their pieces of paper and hope and pray that you're the highest one so that they sign. There's no humanity behind it. AI can do that. Take away those elements and see what's left.
Yeah, to me, there's three major components to any good listing presentation. Number one is going to be the CMA. I shouldn't say good. These are going to be the 3 big components that every agent's going to go into a listing appointment prepped for. Number 1 is going to be the CMA. Number 2 is the ERS. And number 3 is the agent's ability to market the home. The first 2 to me are going to be identical. The agent is not going to dictate the home price. The market is going to dictate the home price every single time. The ERS that I have for you to sign is going to be the same as the agent at another brokerage that they're going to bring you to sign. So to me, those 2 are always going to be the same. Where can you actually stand out is in your ability to market the home. And the second that you remove the CMA as the center point of your listing presentation, now it becomes, do you think that I can outmarket and out-strategize the other agents? And the fun part is that when those other agents are coming in and saying, here's my CMA, let me go through the 19 pages from Cloud CMA, you're going to lose because you didn't even get into the marketing strategy, and that was the only thing that I talked about.
And you cannot, if you try to hit all 3 of those effectively in one meeting, it's a 2-hour meeting. Nobody wants to talk to their accountant for 2 hours. So it's also compartmentalizing the info that the client is going to need. If you try to overwhelm them, it doesn't work. So another phrase that I always use with any of my clients is, hey, we're going to take this one baby step at a time. I'm only going to tell you what is immediately in front of you, and my job is to maintain order in this process, especially when it's first-time buyers or first-time sellers. Let's just deal with what's immediately in front of us. I'll get you to where you need to get because I've done this so many times. You don't need to overwhelm everybody with all of your paperwork, thinking that if they sign it, if you get lucky, that's a win.
So let me walk you guys through now what our new process looks like. So you take your listing appointment, and it is now a 20 to 30 minute time. 15 minutes is going to be spent with you explaining how you're going to position this home in the market to outsell everything else. The other portion is going to be doing a walkthrough so that you can go and present a pricing strategy at a later meeting once the ERS is signed. So you go and do your 30-minute walkthrough, your 15-minute review of the marketing strategy, and the 15-minute home walkthrough. Get the ERS signed at that point. Run through the ERS, use Loom, use any of these other resources, Vimeo, anything that you want to do. That should just be a pre-recorded video that you can send to every single seller. And then the next one is a Zoom call, a 15-minute conversation about where are we going to price your home and how are we going to price it based on the strategies that I am presenting to you. And I would say our conversion rate has gone up dramatically, but I'm curious as somebody, because I'm not listing homes actively. My wife does all of the listings. I am curious as somebody that has switched this, what has been your biggest takeaway?
It forces you to have better conversations. That's it. It forces you to have better conversations, which leads to more rapport. It contrasts with other agents. It allows you to treat people like people.
What has your conversion rate done, would you say?
Increased, 100%. Increased.
So it's increased, and how much time are you spending on the upfront listing prior to having an ERS signed?
Less, 50% less.
So would you say it's effective?
Yes, 100%.
What would you say to any agent that's freaking out saying, whoa, that felt exactly like you did when I first threw this out there saying, hey, we're not going to be training our team on bringing CMAs to listing appointments. Those agents that are feeling the exact same thing that you did, what would your advice be to them?
Try it. Practice it. Role play it. Go in with nothing. Nothing. Go in just nothing and see how
hands in your pocket.
Nothing. Leave your phone in the car. Go in with nothing and talk to people. The issue in general, not only with the real estate industry, but in society is we don't know how to talk to each other. We don't know how to talk to our partners. We don't know how to talk to our kids. We don't know how to talk to our parents. And we damn sure don't know how to talk to Susan, who just contacted me yesterday about wanting to sell her house. We don't know how. Learn how, watch what happens.
I got nothing left. I thought that was good.
Not bad, huh?
Try it. Use the scripting. Use that any agent that comes through that is looking to help you sell your home, that is coming in with a CMA before walking the house is going to be wrong every single time. And then trust yourself on your ability to market and strategically place the home within the market, and your conversion rate will go up. You'll spend less time. I mean, that's the fun part. With this new approach, Tony, if you do lose the listing, you spent 20 to 30 minutes on it at that walkthrough. That's it. You're not losing the 4 to 5 hours that it takes to put together a comprehensive CMA and to understand that CMA, and you'll win more transactions.
Well, and you know what has happened? And last thing is, if they pick another agent because they, give them a higher number, whatever it is, and that house doesn't sell, I have had multiple sellers call me back and say, you were right. And there is nothing sweeter than that I told you so moment, because now the rapport and trust with that seller is through the roof.
Yeah.
It's through the roof. So sometimes you have to take a short-term L, let them try to figure it out. I have probably 4 or 5 listings right now that listed with somebody else that I'm watching, days on market keep going up. Eventually, 2 of those are going to call me back and say, bro, I messed up.
Well, yeah, and honestly, this approach came to me from trying to represent these smaller builders. That's the number one question that I'm going in and asking builders. They're asking me to bring in a CMA, and I'm asking them, how do you expect me to price your home without understanding these things first? After we've sat down for 30 minutes, then I can come and present that strategy to you. It's no different selling 20 townhomes as it is to sell one.
Well, and it makes sense, right? Like, whose idea was that in the first place? It just
the CMA
makes sense. Everybody.
This is one of those old practices that has just been well established at somebody in the 80s. Warren Buffett, when he started Berkshire
80s,
Hathaway.
How am I going to sell your house if I haven't seen it?
Yeah.
It's asinine. It makes no sense. And I've been surprised at how little sense it makes, even to the seller. When I explain it, they're like, yeah, duh. Yeah, that makes sense. Or I had one lady be like, yeah, I didn't think of that last time I sold the house. Yeah. It just makes sense. Try it.
Yeah. So I don't know why it's taking a dumbass like me to come in and start asking some of these questions, but we're going to keep asking these questions. And as we continue to find things that are working, not only just for ourselves and our business, but for the agents on the #1 team here in the state of Utah, we'll continue to bring them to you. And we'll see y'all next time on the Future Agent Podcast.